The orbital gardens on the ship Aurora glowed with pale green light. 4 alien envoys floated around a circular biodome. Maya watched the human prisoner with wide eyes. Her fear was sharp and real. Leo stood near the dome wall and gripped her energy. Staff Aaron sent gentle pulses from her scanning drones toward the dome. Rhea hovered at the edge and trembled with tension inside. The dome, the human sat on a smooth crystal bench. His posture was calm and steady. He lifted his head and met their gaze without fear. His dark eyes held depth and mystery. The air inside the dome smelled of warm earth and wet grass. Maya felt a shiver of dread. No one spoke aloud. The silence wrapped the scene like a heavy cloak. Maya remembered stories of humans who ate living flesh. She felt bile rise in her throat. Leo's muscles tensed at the thought of blood and teeth. Aaron scanned the human spine for hidden spikes or bones that could tear flesh. Rhea's wings fluttered in a silent plea for mercy. The human placed both hands on his knees. His fingers moved in slow circles. Maya thought his calm was a trick. She raised her staff a fraction. Aaron's drones beeped softly as they detected nothing dangerous in his body. Rhea exhaled a shaky breath. Human stood and stepped toward the glass wall. His voice was quiet, but strong. He spoke in perfect common. "I did not come here to harm you." Maya's eyes widened at the clear speech. Leo lowered her staff by a hair's breadth. Aaron adjusted her drones to record the human's voice. Rhea blinked and let her wings settle. The human held up his open palms. No weapons, no claws, no hidden threat. His face was gentle as he said, "I ask only for safe passage and a chance to live." Maya felt her fear battle with curiosity. She exchanged a glance with her 3 companions. Leo shook her head in warning. Aaron scrolled through data on her wrist console. Rhea closed her eyes and listened to her heart. The human spoke again. "I lost my ship in a storm near the outer rim. I drifted in space until your crew found me. I mean, you know Harmarin." S drones hummed as they confirmed no trace of carnivorous toxins in his blood. Leo's arm lowered further. Maya took a single step closer to the dome. Her heart still raced, but her fear softened. The human smiled and gestured to the empty bench beside him. "Please join me and speak freely." Maya hesitated. She felt the weight of her people's fear, but she also felt the pull of hope. Leo exhaled and stepped back. Aaron signaled her drones to map the human's body in fine detail. Rhea fluttered closer and studied his face. Maya placed her hand on the dome glass. The surface was cool under her palm. She studied the human's steady gaze. He held her fear with kindness. The envoys moved as one to join the human at the glass wall. They formed a loose half-circle around the dome. The human bowed his head in respect. Maya asked in soft tones, "What is your name?" The human smiled again and said, "My name is Jax." Jax's voice carried a hint of warmth. Leo felt a strange calm wash over her. Aaron noted the rhythm of his heartbeat. Rhea sensed a gentle melody in his breathing. Jax spoke of the storm that tore his ship apart. He spoke of dwindling air and the fear that clawed at his mind. He spoke of relief when the Aurora found him drifting in space. Maya felt tears prick her eyes at his tale of loss. Leo frowned as she recalled her own days of fear and hunger. Aaron's drones recorded every nuance of Jax's story. Rhea's wings drooped with empathy. Jax said, "I have no home now, but I seek friendship." Maya pressed her forehead against the glass. Her fear gave way to concern. She whispered, "We will help you." Jax smiled and bowed gently. The dome opened with a soft hiss. Jax stepped out onto the garden floor. Maya extended her hand to guide him. He took it without hesitation. Leo holstered her staff. Aaron deactivated her drones. Rhea folded her wings. Together they walked beneath glowing vines. The air smelled of flowers and hope. They passed a fountain that bubbled with clear water. Jax reached out and touched the liquid surface. Ripples spread in perfect circles. Maya spoke, "You will stay with us until we find a place for you." Jax nodded with gratitude. He looked at each envoy in turn. His dark eyes shone with new light. A soft alarm sounded in the distance. The envoys froze. Jax felt the tension flare again. Maya laid a hand on Jax's shoulder. "Stay close to us," she whispered. They moved toward the source of the Alarm Aaron's drones flew ahead to scout. Jax walked between Maya and Leo. Rhea hovered just behind them. They shared a moment of unity. The gardens faded behind them as they entered the ship's corridors. Shadows stretched along the walls. A low growl echoed in the metal tunnel. Maya swallowed her fear and gripped Jax's hand. Leo raised her staff. Aaron's drones cast pale light. Rhea's wings beat a warning. Jax stood tall in their midst. His calm spread like a shield around them. They stepped into the dark corridor together, prepared to face whatever lay ahead. They stepped into the corridor and felt the chill of metal against their skin. The lights flickered in slow rhythm, and shadows stretched like hungry hands. Aaron's drones cast pale beams ahead as Maya and Leo flanked Jax. Rhea hovered close behind with wings folded tight against her back. Jax moved with measured steps and scanned the dark passage with calm eyes. His presence felt like steady lantern light in a sea of doubt. Maya pressed her palm on the wall and sensed faint vibrations underfoot. Her heart beat in sync with the hum of the ship's engines. Leo raised her staff and signaled Aaron's drones to spread wider. They drifted left and right, seeking any sign of the hidden threat. Rhea's feathers bristled as she listened for a whisper or a shuffle. The growl from earlier echoed again, soft and distant, but clear. Jax paused and placed a hand on Maya's shoulder to steady her. His warmth pushed back her fear and gave her courage to breathe. Aaron's drones detected a cool draft coming through a grated vent. Maya frowned and peered up at the metal grid above Thema. Soft click rang out as the vent cover slid to one side. A pair of glowing eyes blinked at them from the darkness overhead. Leo stepped forward and whispered to the group to hold their ground. Rhea spread her wings and glowed with faint bioluminescent light. The creature dropped down in a silent blur and landed on 4 legs. Its fur was striped with black and silver, and its claws were long. Aaron's drones beeped as they scanned the creature's DNA signature. Jax crouched and held out his hand toward the crouching beast. Maya gasped as the creature snarled low and bared sharp teeth. Leo lifted her staff but did not strike and waited for Jax's cue. Rhea beat her wings to create a soft breeze around the beast. Jax spoke in gentle tones and traced a circle in the air. The beast's growl trembled and its head tilted at the strange sound. Its muscles rippled under the light as it hesitated in mid-step. Aaron's drones shone bright as they recorded the creature's every move. Maya felt a tremor of hope rise within her chest. Jax rose and held his arms open in a peaceful gesture. He pressed his palm against his heart and spoke a low hum. The beast's glowing eyes softened and its tail swayed in slow rhythm. Leo exhaled in wonder and lowered her staff all the way. The beast took cautious steps toward Jax and sniffed his outstretched hand. Rhea's glow brightened as she hovered above the scene in awe. Aaron's drones mapped the creature's neural patterns in rapid pulses. Maya reached out to stroke the creature's striped fur and felt warmth. The beast nuzzled Jax's hand and let out a soft purr of trust. Leo nodded and whispered that they could follow its tracks deeper inside. Rhea swooped low and landed beside the beast with gentle grace. Aaron directed her drones to illuminate the path ahead. They trailed the beast through winding halls of steel and pipes. The air grew warmer and the lights shifted to deep orange glow. Maya sensed machinery working unseen behind walls and floors. Leo scanned for emergency overrides and escape routes as they moved. Jax walked between the envoys and kept his hand on the creature's flank. Its stripes slid past like living shadows under his fingers. Rhea whispered that she had never seen a bond so strong. Aaron murmured that the creature was genetically linked to human code. Maya shivered at the thought and remembered the stories of war. Leo clenched her jaw as she realized Jax might hold secrets untold. Rhea hovered with feathers ruffled as she weighed trust against caution. Aaron read continuous data streams on her wrist console in silence. The corridor opened into a large chamber filled with broken glass. A shattered screen flickered images of distant planets and strange faces. The beast growled low and stiffened its body in warning pose. Jax stepped forward and raised a hand as a signal to pause. Maya held her breath and watched the beast circle a pile of bones. Leo raised her staff again but waited for Jax's calm direction. Rhea fluttered her wings and scanned the chamber for hidden traps. Aaron's drones hummed as they recorded skeletal remains around the base. Jax knelt and brushed aside scattered metal fragments to reveal a hatch. His eyes widened at the sight of ancient markings carved on the lid. Maya leaned close and read the symbols that glowed faint in the dark. Leo recognized the pattern as a warning sign from the old war days. Rhea gasped and hovered above them with trembling excitement. Aaron's drones beeped urgently as they detected life signs below the hatch. Jax placed his hand on the carved symbols and whispered a single word. The hatch slid open with a groan of metal and released a plume of air. Blinked as dust and stale air drifted upward from the dark stairwell. Maya pressed her hand to her chest and asked Jax what lay beneath. Jax stood and offered his hand to her in steady reassurance. Leo nodded at Maya and stepped forward first into the unknown depth. Rhea drifted behind. Leo and Aaron's drones formed a glowing path. Jax followed close and traced the beast's stripes in the dim light. Maya took Jax's hand and together they descended into the hidden place. Their hearts beat as one in a rhythm of fear, hope, and trust. They climbed down the narrow stairwell into a vaulted chamber lit by flickering torches. The air was stale and heavy with dust. Maya's foot slipped on the worn stone, and she caught herself on the rough wall. Leo steadied her with a gentle hand. Aaron's drones hovered behind them, casting pale light on broken statues that lined the walls. Rhea's wings brushed against Maya's shoulder in a silent sign of support. Jax led the way. His face was calm, but his eyes held a fierce purpose. He stepped over shattered tiles and motioned for the envoys to follow. Maya swallowed hard as she studied the carvings on the pillars. They showed strange figures with open jaws and glinting claws. She shivered and drew closer to Jax. He offered her a reassuring nod. The corridor opened into a vast hall. The ceiling arched overhead, its beams blackened by smoke. At the far end, a great iron door stood half open. Thick chains draped across its frame. A deep growl echoed from within. Leo raised her staff and whispered, "Be ready." Maya's heart pounded. She pressed a hand to her chest and felt her racing heartbeat. Rhea hovered at her side, her glow pulsing like a quiet drum. Aaron's drones beeped as they swept the room. For life signs, Jax moved forward without hesitation. His posture was steady. He laid a hand on the iron door and pushed it all the way open. Light spilled from the chamber beyond. It revealed a low platform surrounded by cages made of steel bars. Inside each cage lay the twisted remains of creatures that once lived. Their bones were stripped clean. Maya's stomach churned at the sight. Leo covered her mouth with a gloved hand to keep her from crying out. Aaron's drones recorded every detail in silence. At the center of the room, a figure crouched before the last cage. Its back was to them. Jax stepped closer, and Maya felt the air grow thick with dread. The figure turned. Its eyes were the color of burning coals. Its face was a blend of human and beast. Its teeth looked like sharpened blades. "You created this," Jax said, his voice low and hollow. The creature snarled and rose to its full height. It was massive. 4 limbs ended in claws that could rip metal. The draped chains rattled as it flexed its muscles. Maya gasped and stumbled back. Leo caught her arm. Aaron's drones flitted around the creature, searching for a weak spot. Rhea retreated near the doorway, wings spread in alarm. Maya looked to Jax for answers. He met her gaze and sighed. "Years ago," he began, "I worked on a secret project to help my people. We wanted a protector that could survive any threat. We did not know how to stop once it learned to kill. We thought we could control it." Maya stared at him in shock. Leo's jaw clenched. Aaron hovered her drones closer to scan Jax for truth. Rhea's light dimmed in sorrow. The creature growled, as if hearing Jax's confession. It lunged forward and snapped the lock on the cage with a single blow. Jax raised his hand. "Stay back," he warned the envoys. His voice held steel. The beast paused and stared at him with bright, gleaming eyes. Jax took a slow step toward it. Maya's fear warred with her faith in Jax's calm. Leo gripped her staff tightly. Aaron's drones hummed in suspense. Rhea fluttered and hovered above. Jax pressed his palm on his chest. Memories flickered in his eyes. "I named you Guardian," he said softly. The beast's hackles lowered. It paced back and forth, its eyes locked on Jax. Maya felt a flicker of hope. Could Jax still command this creature he once made? Suddenly the torches flickered, and a low rumble shook the floor. Dust fell from the ceiling. Maya stumbled, but Leo caught her. Rhea beat her wings to steady herself. Aaron's drones rose in a tight formation around the group. Jax looked toward the far wall. Strange runes glowed round a hidden hatch. The rumble grew louder. Maya narrowed her eyes at the runes. She recognized them from the statues above. They were a warning for a fail-safe code. Leo read the pattern in her mind. The failsafe will kill the beast and everything near it. Leo mouthed to Maya, "We must stop it." Jax nodded. "I can override it if I reach the core," he said. He pointed to a small console built into the wall beside the hatch. The beast growled again and turned its bulk toward the door behind them. It snarled and bared its teeth at the envoys. Aaron called out, "Maya, block its path." "Leo, cover Jax. Rhea, stay above and watch for surprises." The envoys sprang into action. Maya stood in front of the beast, staff raised. She stared it down with fierce eyes. Leo stood behind Jax and lifted her energy shield. Aaron's drones hovered over the console. Rhea circled high above, scanning the ceiling for traps. Jax dashed toward the console. The floor shook as the beast charged. Maya held her ground. The beast slammed into her staff with a deafening crash. Maya braced her legs and pressed forward. The staff glowed with energy. The beast snarled and leapt at her. Maya brought the staff down in a sweeping arc, nearly striking the beast's flank. It recoiled and swiped at her, its claws missing her by inches. Leo's shield sprang to life, deflecting flying debris as the hatch at the far wall began to open. Aaron tapped frantic commands on the console. Sparks flew from broken wires. The glowing runes flickered faster. The hiss of released magic filled the air. Maya blocked another blow from the beast and stumbled backward. Jax reached the console and slammed his palm on the override panel. "Aaron now!" he shouted. Aaron triggered the override. The runes dimmed and the hatch sealed itself with a heavy thud. The floor stopped trembling. Silence fell. The beast froze mid-lunge. Its eyes flickered uncertainly. Jax stepped between Maya and the creature. He placed a hand on its massive shoulder. He spoke in the low hum they had heard before. The beast blinked and swayed. It sank to its haunches and bowed its head. Maya exhaled and lowered her staff. Leo collapsed against the wall, breathing hard. Aaron's drones landed and recorded the final moment. Rhea drifted down and landed beside the beast. It nudged Rhea gently with its muzzle. Jax turned to the envoys. "I failed once," he said softly, "but I will never let this protect what I cannot control." Maya stepped forward and touched Jax's arm. She nodded. Leo lowered her shield and offered a small smile. Aaron's drones spun in triumph. Rhea laid a gentle hand on the beast's head. At that moment, the heavy iron door behind them creaked closed. The echo resonated through the hall. Silence settled like a blanket over the broken cages and statues. Maya looked around with newfound respect. She saw the beast no longer as a threat, but as a tragic creation in need of care. She saw Jax not as a monster, but as a man seeking redemption. And she felt the bond of their little group strengthen in the flickering torchlight. For now the hidden threat lay subdued. But in the depths of the ancient hall, More secrets waited to be revealed. JAX, and the envoys gathered their strength after the confrontation with the Guardian. Maya brushed dust from her robes and steadied her breathing. Leo checked her staff and recharged its power cells. Erin retrieved her drones and ran a quick diagnostic. Rhea folded her wings and flexed her fingers. The ancient hall lay silent around them, broken cages and statues bearing witness to their struggle. Jack stepped forward and placed a hand on the cold iron door that had sealed the chamber. He pressed his palm to the metal and felt a faint vibration. Underneath the floor, something hummed with hidden life. He frowned and motioned for the envoys to follow him to a side corridor. Maya caught his eye and nodded. She had learned to trust his instincts. The narrow corridor branched into 3 paths. Flickering torches lit each way, but only one path showed fresh footprints in the dust. Leo pointed to the right passage. "This way," she said. Jax led them softly, his boots making no sound on the stone. Maya and Leo flanked him. Erin and Rhea brought up the rear dot as they walked. Erin's drones cast gentle light on the walls. Strange murals depicted the rise of a warrior race and their making of the Guardian. Maya studied the images. They showed humans and aliens working side by side in glowing forges. Sparks flew as metal fell into shape. Faces glowed with pride. Maya's heart warmed at the sight of unity. But then the murals turned dark. They showed control panels and warning signs. Figures raised swords and shields against the Guardian. Flames consumed the forges. The final panel ended in silence. Maya shivered. "This place once was a forge of hope," she whispered. Jax's face was grave. "It became a tomb of regret," he said. They reached a heavy stone arch framed by thorny vines. Thick roots curled around the arch like living snakes. A carved inscription above read in an old tongue, "Here lies the truth of creation." Leo tapped the letters and Erin's drones translated them into common. "Enter and learn." Jax pressed against the vines. They parted like curtains to reveal a spiral staircase descending deep into the rock. The air grew cooler and damper. With each step, Maya felt water drip from overhead. Leo's staff glowed brighter to light their path. Erin's drones hovered ahead in formation. Rhea clung to Leo's shoulder for warmth. At the bottom, they found a circular chamber. A domed ceiling bore a map of stars etched in silver lines. In the center stood a massive pillar of crystal. It pulsed with pale blue light. Around the pillar were 4 consoles, each with a small seat. The floor showed more runes, carved in concentric circles. Jax approached the pillar and placed his hand on its smooth surface. The crystal hummed in response. Maya moved closer, her fear mingled with awe. Leo circled the consoles, testing their switches. Erin sent her drones to scan for power sources. Rhea drifted above the pillar, her eyes reflecting its glow. Suddenly the consoles lit up. Hollow panels flickered into view, displaying text and images. Jax leaned in and read aloud. "Project Unity, creation of Protector, DNA merge protocols, override failsafe." His voice echoed in the silent chamber. Maya gasped. "They tried to merge human and alien DNA to make a hybrid Guardian." Jax nodded. They believed they could create a perfect ally. Leo frowned, but the Guardian turned on them. Rhea's glow dimmed. Erin tapped commands on her wrist console and brought up logs. The holopanel showed names and dates. They recorded months of testing and trial. The final entry blinked in bright red. "Failsafe breach. Termination authorized." Maya felt tears sting her eyes. They killed their own creation. Jax pressed his fist to his chest. "And then abandoned this place." A soft click sounded, and the pillar's light flared. The runes on the floor began to glow in sequence, tracing a path toward one of the consoles. The holopanel there displayed an icon of a starship. Leo recognized the symbol as belonging to the Aurora. Aaron pointed at the screen. Someone tried to send a distress signal from here. Jax tapped the console. A short message played in. Broken audio. Aurora foundered. Crew lost. Protector loose. Seek aid. The message ended with static and a final word. Sorry. Maya's voice trembled. They meant for you to be rescued. Jax closed his eyes. They knew I would come back someday. Rhea hovered lower and brushed her hand against his arm. Leo placed a comforting hand on Maya's shoulder. Aaron's drone swept the chamber for other exits. One drone paused at a hidden panel set into the wall. It glowed faintly and showed an arrow pointing down. Jax pressed a button on the pillar and a segment of the floor shifted, aside to reveal a tunnel sloping downward. They gathered at the new passageway. Leo tested the air and found it safe. Maya swallowed hard and took a step forward. Jax offered his hand. She clasped it and felt his steady warmth. Aaron's drones illuminated the dark entrance. Rhea circled above with cautious grace. They moved into the tunnel. The crystal pillars' light dimmed behind them. The chamber fell into darkness except for Maya's fading torchlight and the drone's glow. Every step echoed in the narrow corridor. Maya felt the walls pulse with ancient power. Halfway down the slope, the tunnel opened into a wide cavern. Stalactites hung from the ceiling like teeth. Water dripped onto mossy rocks. In the center of the cavern lay a broken starship hull. The metal gleamed faintly in the drone light. It was a small escape craft, battered and torn. Leo gasped. This was the last ship to leave the forge. Jax stepped onto the hull and knelt beside a faded decal. It bore the Aurora's emblem. Maya peered over his shoulder at a scratched message on the hull. To whoever finds this, the Guardian lives. A cold wind hissed through the cavern. The drones flickered as they detected movement in the deep shadows. Rhea beat her wings and let out a soft alarm. Leo raised her staff. Defensively. Maya gripped Jax's hand. Jax rose with slow determination. He placed his palm on the escape craft's hull. His dark eyes scanned the cavern's far wall. Two glowing eyes met his across the distance. They shone with primal hunger. Maya's blood froze. Leo whispered, "Another Guardian?" Aaron's drones beeped an urgent warning. Rhea hovered at Leo's shoulder. Feathers bristled. Jax drew a deep breath and steadied his posture. The glow from his chest pulsed once. His eyes narrowed as he prepared to face whatever lurked in the darkness. In the silent cavern, only the dripping water and distant echo remained. Then the eyes blinked and a low growl rumbled from the shadows. The envoys tightened their circle around Jax, ready to fight or flee. But Jax held his ground, his calm resolve shining brighter than any light. Ahead of them, in the swirling half-dark, a new shape began to emerge, silent, powerful, and alive. They stood in the echoing cavern as the new Guardian stepped into view. Its fur was dark as night, and its eyes glowed like embers. Jax felt the weight of the moment, but his chest felt calm and steady. He raised a hand to halt his friends. Maya pressed her palm to the cool stone wall and drew a steady breath. Leo held her staff at the ready and let its glow shine strong. Aaron's drone circled above the cavern, casting shifting lights on the broken escape craft. Rhea hovered near Jax's shoulder, her wings trembling with guarded hope. The Guardian padded closer on powerful limbs. Its claws scraped faint cracks. Into the cave floor, Maya's heart pounded like a drum. She gripped the hem of Jax's cloak. Leo whispered, "Be careful." Aaron's drones beeped softly in warning. Rhea folded her feathers close to her body. Jax stepped forward and spoke in the low hum of his earlier words. The breath in his voice was calm and clear. He called out, "I am Jax." The Guardian paused and cocked its head. It sniffed the air and let out a soft rumble of recognition. Maya felt a spark of hope. She remembered how Jax had tamed the first Guardian with kindness. She squeezed Jax's hand. Leo lowered her staff by an inch. Aaron's drones lit a path of soft light on the cavern floor. Rhea allowed her wings to relax. The Guardian took a slow step forward. It pressed its massive paw to the escape craft hull and let out a low purr. Jax walked closer with measured steps. Maya and Leo flanked him. Aaron and Rhea remained just behind. Jax held out his hand in peace. The Guardian leaned its great head into his palm and closed its eyes. Maya let out a breath. She did not know she held. Leo exhaled with relief. Aaron's drones recorded the moment in steady beams. Rhea touched her feathered wing to Jax's arm, as if to welcome him home. Jax spoke again. "You have guarded this place in loneliness," he said. "I am here now to free you from that burden." The Guardian nuzzled his hand and rumbled like a distant storm fading into calm. Maya stepped forward and placed her hand on the creature's flank. Its fur was soft and warm. She felt the slow rise and fall of its breathing. Her fear melted away, and she felt admiration. Leo knelt and offered water from a small canteen. The Guardian lapped the water gently. Aaron hovered her drones in a circle overhead, mapping the cavern's walls. Rhea dripped candlelight from her glow onto the broken tools scattered around. Jax turned to the group. "This place was meant for unity," he said. "We can restore it," Maya nodded. "We can fix what was broken." Leo added, "and build a new home for the Guardian." Aaron tapped her wrist console. "I can remote hack the forges and restore power." Rhea flitted above the crystal pillar, still faintly glowing blue. Jax led them back toward the pillar. Chamber. The path through the tunnel felt brighter now that the fear had lifted. Maya and Leo walked side by side. Maya caught Leo's eye and shared a small smile. The memory of their first meeting in the garden felt like a distant dream. Aaron's drones flickered as they projected light onto the rune-marked walls. Rhea hovered near the front, guiding them like a living lantern. When they reached the pillar chamber, the consoles lay dark and silent. Jax placed his hand on the crystal and murmured the old code. The runes on the floor glowed again in gentle patterns. Aaron tapped commands into her console. The hollow panels flickered on, showing menus for power and production. Maya studied the maps of the forges on the wall. Leo activated the energy flow with her staff. Sparks flew from dormant conduits. The forges hummed to life in a soft echo. Rhea's glow brightened the domed ceiling map. The stars above shone in alignment with the aurora's course. Jax smiled as the pillar pulsed in rhythm with his heartbeat. Maya let out a quiet laugh of wonder. Leo danced a small step in joy. Aaron's drones traced the new energy lines in the air. Outside the pillar chamber, the Guardian waited. When the power lights shone through the cavern entrance, it padded forward and nudged Rhea in greeting. She chirped and glowed in return. Maya and Leo hurried out and knelt beside the beast. They placed gentle hands on its head and shoulders. Aaron's drones landed on nearby ledges to record. Jax joined them and whispered words of friendship. The Guardian leaned into their touch and let out a contented rumble. Jax looked toward the spiral stair where the vines curled back from the arch. "This is only the beginning," he said. "We will bring new life to these halls." Maya placed her hand over her heart. "We will share our cultures and learn from each other." Leo nodded. "We will protect this place together." Aaron tapped a final command on her wrist. "I will send a message to the Aurora for supplies and architects." Rhea fluttered. Her wings glowed, guiding them back to the gardens above. They ascended the stairs with a new purpose. The ancient hall behind them no longer felt like a tomb, but a foundation. Maya breathed in the fresh air of the garden chamber. Vines climbed toward the soft green glow. Leo touched the humming fountain. Aaron's drones fluttered around blooming flowers. Rhea landed on a stone bench and closed her eyes. Jack stepped into the garden center. He closed his eyes and held out his arms. The light and life around him seemed to pulse in blessing. Maya and Leo joined him with open hearts. Aaron's drones recorded the scene in gentle arcs. Rhea glowed softly above them. In the days that followed, the envoys and Jax worked side by side. They cleared rubble, restored water flow, and reactivated the forges. The Guardian helped carry heavy beams and cracked stones with careful strength. Maya taught the creature gentleness. Leo showed it new ways to help in the gardens. Aaron upgraded the forges with alien and human designs. Rhea tended seedlings that glowed with bioluminescent hope. Word of their work reached the Aurora. A ship arrived in orbit, bearing supplies, tools, and new crew. The envoys guided the vessels into dock. Jax welcomed his friends aboard and introduced them to the Guardians. The humans and aliens shared stories of fear and triumph. They formed bonds stronger than any chain. On the day the new forge opened, Jax stood before a gathering of envoys and crew. The Guardian stood at his side, its fur gleaming. Maya spoke of fear turned to trust. Leo spoke of strength found in unity. Aaron spoke of knowledge shared across species. Rhea glowed bright above them as she sang a soft song of celebration. Jax raised his hand in a salute. Today we mark a new chapter, he said, where fear of the unknown becomes wonder and hope, where understanding builds bridges across the stars. The crowd cheered as fires lit the forge in ritual. Sparks danced in the night sky. In that moment the Guardian let out a low rumble of joy. It nudged Jax's hand and looked out at the shining stars. The forge's light reflected in its eyes like distant suns, and as the fires roared to life, every heart there knew the truth of creation had been reborn. The fear was gone, and new life stood ready to grow across the galaxy.